As the U.S. Army turns 250, AI, drones, and data-driven tactics are reshaping land warfare. Ben, how is technology changing the U.S. Army?
Technology is changing the U.S. Army by actually having it think more about an old cavalry concept, the fight for information. How do you use a mix of unmanned systems that are conducting what we used to call RISTA, reconnaissance, intelligence, and target acquisition along the front line of the battlefield? So you have to imagine all of these capabilities mean you don't need cavalry scouts on horseback riding in front of the U.S. Army or even tanks. Now you can actually imagine a future where through a mix of unmanned systems, artificial intelligence to vector them, the Army becomes faster, more lethal, and at the same time smaller. And that's where you really get some very interesting opportunities on the horizon. It's not just that land power requires mass, it requires speed and tempo. And these emerging technologies allow the Army to reimagine how it fights to take advantage of those deeper technological trends.
What makes this a defining moment for the next era of warfare?
War is constantly changing in its character, but enduring in certain aspects. And right now we're sitting at a true inflection point. The Army itself has been thinking about artificial intelligence for decades. In fact, it used to grant what's called an ASI, an additional skill identifier for artificial intelligence, in 1997, way before AI got cool. And why that's important is that right now we're living in one of those moments where the engineering and the economics have caught up with the ideas. So now the Army can actually say the words artificial intelligence and actually train its soldiers to use it and have the computational infrastructure able to actually build tactics around capabilities like artificial intelligence, around capabilities like increasing autonomous systems. Whereas before, the ideas were too far ahead of the engineering and to the extent that it was disproportionately expensive. That's not the case anymore. Ukraine has shown us that you can build low-cost hunter-killer teams made up primarily of drones, both ground and air, or what the Army calls air littoral based. And so that means at this moment, it is absolutely critical, at a defining moment in history too, 250 years for the Army to start to reimagine itself, how it fights, so that it continues to be the guardian of the Republic.